Good afternoon, Georgina Lewis updating 10 News First. An Amber Alert issued for missing 11-year-old Lane Ella Highland, last seen at Southport. A lately aged care worker, one of two new COVID cases in Queensland. We're one-on-one with the Treasurer as he explains how we'll dig our way out of recession, and the alarming number of bus driver assaults still happening despite lower public transport usage. Good afternoon, Georgina Lewis updating 10 News First. Police have put out an urgent Amber Alert for an 11-year-old girl on the Gold Coast. A worker at an aged care home in Laidley tests positive to coronavirus, sparking mass testing among staff and residents. Sydney's family court bomber handed 3 life sentences without parole, and Rugby League's petty swipe at the AFL after its Gather grand final announcement. At 5, a Laidley aged care worker tests positive to COVID. An Amber Alert issued for a missing Gold Coast 11-year-old, and the Sussexes sign a multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix. Coming up, 2 new cases of COVID in Queensland. 1, an aged care worker. An Amber Alert issued for a missing 11-year-old girl, and we're one-on-one with the Federal Treasurer. Tonight, the desperate search for a girl on the run. Lane Ella Highland missing for more than 2 weeks after disappearing from a Gold Coast home. Now the desperate mission to find her safe and sound. An aged care scare at a Laidley nursing home. An employee, one of 2 new cases for Queensland. The family court bomber to die behind bars. Leonard Warwick stole 3 lives. Now he'll live out his in prison. The harmful habits setting kids up to fail. The new research showing the impacts of too much screen time, and it's a cause for concern now more than ever. A clash of the codes. The NRL boss takes a free kick at the AFL.
The NRL Grand Final will be held in Cairns. We try to find a golf course to do it in, but unfortunately they're all occupied. So, no, that's not what we're here for.
And holding on to a wing and a prayer and a whole lot of helium.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a developing situation on the Gold Coast where a major search is underway for an 11-year-old girl missing for more than 2 weeks. Let's go straight to Joe Hill. Joe, has there been any sign of Lane Ella Highland?
Well, Georgia, the young girl left her home after a fight with her mum 16 days ago. Since then, there's only been 1 confirmed sighting.
Let's hope she's found. Thank you, Joe. To some breaking news now, and it's been a nervous afternoon for residents in Wynnum West with a scrub fire burning close to their back fences. 5 crews were called to Camille Crescent just before 2 this afternoon and have been attacking the fire from both sides ever since. There was no direct threat to property. The blaze has now been contained, but crews remain on the scene. Urgent testing is underway at an aged care home west of Brisbane after a staff member contracted COVID-19. It's linked to the current cluster at the detention centre, but authorities aren't taking any chances.
An aged care home at Laidley is now the centre of an urgent COVID response.
The only problem, that could be voter fraud. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, New York.
Coming up, the everyday heroes in our community honoured for their work protecting Queensland kids. Also, what sparked the arrest of a pregnant woman inside her home. Plus later, adding a touch of magic to a ballooning ambition. And in sport, NRL boss Peter V'landys takes a pot shot at the AFL's Queensland Grand Final.
Well, good afternoon. Some busy going up the gateway this afternoon from around Boondall up towards the Bruce Highway. Some smoky conditions around this afternoon. There is a bushfire burning around Camille Crescent through Wynnum West. We'll go and try and get a look at that. The run up the gateway, pretty busy, like I said, up to about the Bruce Highway. Once you get onto the Pine River Bridge, well, it's moving through quite nicely. A couple of slow patches still on Gympie Road up through Kedron and Chermside, and the run up here through Bald Hills, pretty slow up towards the Pine River Bridge. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Palm Lake Resort. Georgie, another check of the roads coming up a little later in the bulletin.
We will see you again soon. Thank you, Dave. A young mum who was arrested at her home in regional Victoria over a Freedom Day protest says she plans to fight her incitement charge. Zoe Boula's arrest sparked international outrage as it was live streamed on Facebook, but a top cop has defended the move.
Handcuffed in front of her two young children.
So richly deserve. Tim Collins for 10 News First.
Time now for an early weather check. Josh, another foggy start out west.
It certainly was, Georgie. We saw the visibility this morning drop to 300 metres in areas like Ipswich, although the fog did burn off relatively quickly. We saw a little bit of cloud linger across the southeast, but a few breaks of sunshine this afternoon. And as predicted, we saw those onshore winds cause a few showers today across the northeast and central coast. Cowley Beach, north of Mission Beach, 5 millimetres into the rain gauge since 9 o'clock this morning. And Walkerston, which is just west of Mackay, picked up 7 millimetres, although it was dry across parts of the southeast thanks to that region of high pressure. Temperature-wise, bang smack on average for Brisbane. 26 at the top today. We hit 25 at the Sunshine Coast, 26 degrees at the Gold Coast and Logan. We hit the same mark in Ipswich after an overnight low of 9 degrees, and tops of 22 degrees was the maximum in Toowoomba. Now, the weekend is fast approaching. We're expecting some showers as we get through Sunday. Georgie, all those weather details coming up 5 to 6.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Josh. Ahead, lost at sea, a livestock carrier with Australian crew members disappears off Japan. Also, rocked by corona, the Hollywood heavyweight struck down with COVID-19. And TV royalties, Harry and Meghan's new Netflix deal. A man charged with stabbing and biting 3 Sydney police officers has been declared too violent to face his attempted murder charge in court. One of the injured officers had only just returned to work after another violent assault.
In the back of a police wagon, our first look.
Stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, the long-term study on the real impact screen time is having on our kids, and taking flight on a helium high.
Hello again. As we start to wrap things up tonight, the Riverside Expressway and Captain Cook Bridge still fairly slow both in and out of the city. Here's that fire we mentioned earlier on Camille Crescent just as you head through Wynnum West. Looks like they're doing a bit of back burning now to protect those houses. Doing a great job. Plenty of smoke around Wynnum West though. The run up the gateway, well, fairly good conditions here as you head up through Nudgee all the way through to the Bruce Highway. Tad under speed through Brackenridge. It's certainly not too bad. And heading back over the Houghton Highway Bridge back into Redcliffe, we are looking A-OK. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Palm Lake Resort. Have a great night tonight. I'll check the roads again for you and wrap up the working week tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories, the desperate appeal to find an 11-year-old girl on the Gold Coast. Lane Ella Highland has been missing for more than 2 weeks. 2 new COVID cases recorded in Queensland. One of them is an aged care worker sparking mass testing at the facility in Laidley. And a major development in the crash that claimed the lives of 4 children. The driver today indicating he will plead guilty. The TV habits of primary school children could impact their chance of future success in the classroom. With this year's pandemic restrictions, parents are being urged to pay even greater attention to how much time kids spend in front of a screen.
Sunshine over screen time.
Charlotte Goodlett for 10 News First.
Thankfully, no power lines for MV.
Yeah, that's a hard pass for me.
Sport time now, Veronica. The NRL's taken a shot at the AFL.
Yeah, Peter V'landys was in a mood today, G. Thank you. Coming up, the NRL's boss mocks his rival Code's decision to move their grand final to Queensland. Not that Chris Fagan cares. The Lions coach is on cloud 9 and his side eyes off the finals. Plus, James Harden's key moment in the NBA playoffs. Welcome back. NRL boss Peter V'landys continued his code war with the AFL today, slamming his rival Code for their Queensland grand final decision. But there's enough problems in their own backyard, with the NRL set to slash their budget.
Pettiness has become one of Peter V'landys'.
As long as he wants. And Georgia have a good authority. That was first attempt.
Wow, very impressive. Thanks, V. Coming up, Josh has the latest on the showers forecast for this weekend. Time for a final weather check. Josh, showers on the way this Sunday.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie. It could be a wet end to the weekend. Sunday, a couple of showers pushing across areas of southeast Queensland. Not expecting huge amounts of rainfall. We're at about 1 to 5 millimetres in most areas, but we'll look at that in detail in just a moment. Firstly, the synoptic chart tomorrow. We've got our area of high pressure situated off towards New Zealand, still causing those onshore winds for the Queensland coast. And a little bit further to the west, we've got this trough of low pressure, which is slowly drifting in an easterly fashion. And by the time we reach Sunday, that trough will arrive in southeast Queensland. It will stall and it will help to create the odd shower as we get through the back end of the weekend and into Monday. Before that happens though, those onshore winds creating a few showers tomorrow, in particular around areas of the central and northeast tropical coast. We've got some fog patches possible around the eastern inland and also the possibility of some raised dust through the far southwest due to some gusty winds. But apart from that, looking dry across areas of southeast Queensland tomorrow. Chance of a shower for Cairns though in the tropics, 29 the top, possibly extending through the adjacent inland to the Atherton Tablelands. Townsville mostly sunny and 27. A fine day for Roma, overnight low of 9 degrees, 29 tomorrow afternoon, and the chance of a shower for Gladstone and 25. We could see some early fog patches as well for Gympie, hitting 26 degrees. Into the southeast, the chance of fog inland during the early morning, mostly sunny during the day. Overnight temperatures falling to between 9 and 13 degrees, and daytime temperatures reaching the low to high 20s. We're going for 25 at Logan, 26 at Caboolture with the chance of some early fog, 28 degrees for Ipswich, 23 for Toowoomba tomorrow. Into Brisbane City, 25 degrees, the maximum forecast temperature, one below average for this time of year. It will be mostly sunny for Friday and also Saturday, with temperatures increasing to 27 degrees. A shower or two Sunday and a shower or two Monday with a top of 24, drying up into Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Now for Ipswich, we're looking at 28 degrees tomorrow, a very warm Saturday, approaching that 30 degree mark with 29. A shower or two at this stage forecast for Sunday and into Monday, and like Brisbane, clearing up over Tuesday and Wednesday as those temperatures climb back up to 28 degrees Wednesday next week. For the Gold Coast, 25 to the top tomorrow, mostly sunny skies extending into Saturday. We are expecting showers on the Gold Coast Sunday with 23 degrees and 80% chance. Just a shower or two Monday and 23, and back to mostly sunny skies Tuesday and Wednesday. We're looking at mostly sunny skies for the Sunshine Coast tomorrow Saturday, and a shower or two Sunday and Monday. Not large amounts of rain expected, Georgie, but a few spits and spats nonetheless.
Thank you, Josh. Well, that is 10 News First for now. For details on tonight's bulletin, head to 10play.com.au. Stay on 10. The project is next. See you tomorrow. Good night.